Teachers Veterans Day program. Today we gather to pay tribute to the brave men and women who have served our country with honor and sacrifice. As we reflect on their contributions, let us celebrate the values of courage, resilience, and commitment that they embody. Each story of service is a reminder of the strength of our nation, and it is our privilege to acknowledge their sacrifices. Together, let's create a moment of gratitude, remembrance, and inspiration as we honor those who have protected our freedoms. Thank you for being here to recognize these heroes today.
On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold.
From heaven will others have died, and all of them will pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who have taken their red, white, and blue.
They fought for us in all of our race, and fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know its name, they go veterans just the same.
We would like to share some important moments from a book called A Veteran's White Table. This story is about a little white table with no little emphasis.
The children are asked to help set the table for dinner. The mother explains the significance of each item placed there. This table is a symbol of remembrance to service members fallen, missing, or held captive in the line of duty.
We appreciate the depth of sacrifice as we remember the soldiers who are not here. The table honors the men and women who served in various armed forces. The table is proud to show our everlasting devotion and concern for our fallen soldiers and missing comrades. The chairs cloth is white, symbolizing the purity of the motives and answering the call to duty.
Rose, displayed in the vase, to remind us of the life and the blood that was shed, and the loved ones and friends who keep the faith and await the answers.
The vase is tied with a red ribbon, symbol of our commitment and continued determination to account for our missing.
reminds us of the tears endured by those missing and their families who still seek answers.
Black napkin is a reminder of the isolation, deprivation, and cruel fate of our missing. The Bible represents the strength, faith, and the faith to sustain those lost from our country, founded as one nation under God. The glass is inverted to symbolize the inability to share this evening with us.
Chair is empty until they are not here, and will remain so until they return or encounter. You are not forgotten so long as there is one left in whom your memory remains.
Best man in the world. It represents any land. I face my own proper face.
newest military branch is the U.S. Space Force, which was formed in 2019. Space Force. The Space Force organizes, trains, and equips Space Forces in order to protect the U.S. and allied interests in space and to provide space capabilities to the joint force. We also have our National Guard, comprised of the Army National Guard and Air National Guard. The National Guard is a versatile force supporting
Hello everyone, my name is Isaac Daniels, and I'm currently a cadet second class of the United States Air Force Academy, which means I am a junior. I just finished my Saturday AM inspection, an event that happens 3 times a semester and involves a lot of cleaning. I'm a graduate of Schnecksville Elementary, Orfield Middle School, and Parkland High School. I'm studying aeronautical engineering and applied mathematics. This is a 4-year-long military service academy that ends with me commissioning as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. I hope to be a pilot in the Air Force, and although the specific plane is not as important, I would like to fly fighter jets. As of the beginning of this school year, I am committed to finishing school here and serving 5 years active duty in the Air Force. I chose to attend this school for many different reasons. Some of those reasons are different from what keep me here. However, in general, I went here because I want to fly planes and because I want to serve in the Air Force. One of my favorite parts of the military is the people you meet and the friends you make. A lot of the people I go to school with here are very good friends because you live together, you train together, and you have been through a lot together. As a result, we trust each other, and we always like to go out and do things together. Another reason is the cool things you get to do. I've been to Germany on the government's dime. I've gotten to solo in a glider. I've gotten to fly a small airplane and ride in a C-130. Furthermore, I can get a season pass to go skiing at the legendary mountains here for a very cheap price, which is coming up again soon and I'm looking forward to it. All these things make the experience something worthwhile. My biggest challenge right now is school. I'm taking a heavy course load and trying to get the best grades I can so I can get the job and opportunities that I want. I spend most of my day in class and most of my evening doing homework. If I'm not doing either of those, then I'm doing military training or I'm working out, making myself stronger so I can do better on my fitness tests. Parkland taught me well how to work hard and prioritize important things over anything else. Parkland also taught me how to study properly and take hard classes, which is coming in handy right now. I'm sure this will not be the biggest challenge that I face in the military. However, this school is designed to push me hard so that when something harder comes my way, I'm ready for it. One of those challenging times I faced was recognition. When I was a freshman here, there was an event called Recognition, which occurred in April of that year. Freshman year here is one of the hardest as you adapt to the military lifestyle and wearing the uniform. And in addition, there are all kinds of extra rules and knowledge you need to memorize word for word as a freshman. All of this culminates in an event called Recognition, which is a 3-day-long training event where the upper 3 classes push you to your limits. There was a lot of yelling, there was a lot of testing my knowledge, and there was even more physical training. It required me to push past mental barriers when I thought I could not go any further. How I did this was by remembering why I was here, what I wanted, relying on my team and my classmates to support each other, and remembering that it wouldn't last forever. In the end, I earned my proper wings and was finally recognized as a member of the cadet wing. My role models in the military are typically my leadership and teachers. For example, a lot of our teachers were or are military pilots and engineers. Since those are both things I'm interested in doing, I'm curious in how they got to where they are, what helped them, etc. I also pay attention to my leaders too. If I perceive them as a good leader, then I want to know what makes them a good leader. Since it is highly likely I will one day have a job similar to theirs, I want to know how I can do that job well. There are a lot of opportunities that the Air Force can offer me. The one I am after is to fly cool planes for the Air Force. I would also like to go to graduate school and get a master's degree once I graduate the Air Force Academy. However, if that does not work out, I can also become an engineer. I can become a combat systems officer, which is responsible for weapons on a plane. I can become an air battle manager, telling planes what to do in the sky. I can do intelligence, lead aircraft maintenance or security forces, which is the Air Force Police Forces, or be in charge of the nuclear missiles, and much more. These are just some of the jobs that are offered to me as an Air Force officer, and although you are never guaranteed to get what you want, there are plenty to choose from. I'd like to thank all veterans in attendance for your service and for blazing the path that I now follow.
How's it going, Veterans Memorial Elementary? This is Jake checking back in from the Navy. You may have remembered me from a few years ago when I shot a video on the ship. Same guy as before, but I do have a different job now. I'm no longer on the ship. I'm actually an instructor, kind of like your teachers do, teaching you mathematics and social studies. but I am teaching the next generation of young officers how to drive ships out in the fleet and in the Navy. So today I'm going to be answering a couple of questions for you all, as well as talk a little bit about life in the Navy and life in the military. I do want to say thank you to all the veterans that are in attendance there, and anyone who may not be in attendance. Thank you for your service. And let's kick this off as we celebrate this Veterans Day of 2024. Where did I go to college? So I went to college in Daytona Beach, Florida, at a school called Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Aeronautical, some of you may know, is an aviation term. So I wanted to fly jets for the Navy initially, and that's why I chose to go there. However, I was not able to fly jets for the Navy. Instead, I drive ships due to something with my eyesight. And it was a good lesson in life that sometimes plan A does not always work out, and doors do open in life, and you got to take those opportunities. I saw the opportunity to continue to serve in the Navy despite not being able to fly. And in life, you just got to do the best of your abilities no matter where you're planted, and I think that's the most important thing. So my favorite part of the military is definitely the people that we work with day in and day out. We have people from all different walks of life, from every which state in the United States and all over the world, from different backgrounds, both young and old, and we all come together as a great team to get the nation's job at sea done. You may think that the best part of the military is all the cool gadgets and the big warships and planes that we do get to use, but really, in all reality, without the people and the hard work of all the men and women in the military, we would not be able to do anything, and none of that equipment would matter. So I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and was always in the Parkland School District. I went to Memorial Elementary School, then Springhouse Middle School, and eventually Parkland High School, where I graduated in 2014. I would say some of the skills I developed there that have helped me in my day in and day out job and everyday life is the camaraderie and teamwork that I built with some of my best friends playing sports for Parkland, the Parkland School District. I ran track for them and played football, and to this day I still keep in touch with some of my friends. And that teamwork that you get by playing in sports early on really does carry all the way into your later life and whatever jobs you may do. I also learned what it was to be a good leader through various outstanding teachers that taught me while I was in high school and middle school. I was kind of a little bit of a problem child and had poor listening skills, but thankfully I had very patient teachers, and they were able to reel me in and get me back on track, and I eventually found my own and performed very well at school thanks to their leadership. Honesty and trust are one of the most important characteristics and values we have in the military. I would like to give a good example of this, and that is every single day on board the ship, and whether you're on a big aircraft carrier or a small ship, we do maintenance every single day. And while you may think the maintenance is so the materials and the parts and the ship work properly, the biggest, most important thing is that so nobody gets hurt when they're serving on board these platforms. So for my own personal example, one of my side jobs in the Navy is being a rescue swimmer. So if somebody was out at sea in trouble and they needed saving out in the middle of the ocean, I was to enter the water off of essentially a really long crane with a rope on it. And that rope needed maintenance done on it all the time so that it didn't snap. And I trusted the enlisted sailors that were trained and performing that maintenance on a weekly basis so that in the event that I was being lowered on it, I wouldn't splatter onto the ocean surface in the middle of the night. And that is just a tiny little example of how important trust goes and honesty. The best advice I could give you is just always be true, even if it's bad news. Be able to tell people bad news. It is much better to just be honest than to try to hide something to make it appear better. because the truth will always come out, and it always ends up coming around. So it's best that you just be open and honest right from the get-go. So one of the biggest challenges I've had in the Navy was probably about 4 years ago when I did my second deployment. A deployment is where you go away from home and you stay on the ship and you go overseas to faraway places. And my deployment was an 8-month deployment, which ended up happening in the middle of the COVID pandemic. So while most deployments may be fun and you get to pull into all these cool places, which I have before, like Greece and Spain and Italy and all these beautiful places, this 8-month deployment away from home, we were not able to visit any of those places because of the COVID outbreak. So we had to maintain our station out at sea for a very long time. And as you can imagine, that can kind of be tough on you. And staring at the ocean for over 150 days in a row could get a little bit monotonous. But the way we all overcame it was with each other. And that goes back to my point of the most important part of the military is the man or woman to the left and right of you, day in and day out. Because we all figured out ways to make it through what seemed like an impossible task, but we built morale up in each other and made each other happy. We played games, we watched movies, we worked out together, and we continually built each other up. And we all made it in the end, and we're very happy to come home back to the United States. Well, Veterans Memorial, it's been an absolute honor speaking to you again. I'm sure I will see you again next time. Please stay safe out there, and remember, be honest, stay true to yourself, and always be the best version of yourself no matter where you are placed in life. Thank you.
Poppies are a vibrant red with black center. Poppies are symbol of remembrance and hope for a peaceful future. Poppies are worn as a show of support for the armed forces. Poppies are regularly sold to raise money for veterans. The poppy became the official symbol of the Royal British Legion in 1921. The red poppy is a nationally recognized symbol of sacrifice won by Americans since World War I. It reminds Americans of the sacrifices made by our veterans while protecting us in the United States. Please join me in welcoming our 5th grade woodwind ensemble to play a spirited arrangement of My Country Tis of Thee. My Country Tis of Thee, also known as America, was written by Samuel Francis Smith in 1831. The lyrics were inspired by the desire to create a patriotic song for American celebrations. Smith composed the melody, which was borrowed from the British anthem, God Save the Queen. The song quickly gained popularity and became a staple of American patriotism, often sung at public events and ceremonies. It expresses themes of freedom, national pride, and the beauty of the American landscape. Over the years,
PTSD, anxiety, and depression. These remarkable animals provide essential support, helping veterans regain independence and navigate everyday challenges that many of us take for granted. The impact of service dogs is profound. Many veterans report significant improvements in their quality of life after being paired with a service dog. They experience reduced feelings of isolation, increased social engagement, and a renewed sense of purpose. As we express our gratitude today, it's essential to recognize the dedication of organizations like Tales of Valor, Paws of Honor Incorporated, which has been around now for 10 years and is continuing to expand past veterans to police and other people in need of therapy. They work hard to match trained service dogs with those who need them most at no cost to the people. Let us take a moment to thank these extraordinary service dogs and the organizations behind them for their unwavering support and love. They embody loyalty and resilience, reminding us that healing often comes in the form of a wagging tail and a gentle nudge. I'd like to welcome today Heather, Chris, and Barney from Tales of Valor, Paws of Honor.
So wave your flag and show your pride and never let it fall.
And remember why we pledge each day with liberty and justice for all.
have students here in the building that will come to the reception to spend some time with you. But first, we could not have done this program without some very important people. So can we please give Mrs. LaRue and Mrs. Adler the art projects and preparing them